The FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming, and most people are going to watch the biggest sporting event on the planet on a TV that cannot do it justice. Blurry motion during corner kicks. Crowd roar, that sounds like it is coming from a laptop. A picture so flat it might as well be a newspaper. But here is what I need you to understand. There are two Samsung devices that, when combined, turn your living room into something that feels genuinely different. I am talking about the Samsung S95F OLED and the Q990F soundbar. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly why this combination exists and whether it is built for you. The screen Samsung S95F. Let's start with what you are looking at. The S95F is Samsung's flagship OLED television for 2025, and it is built around one specific obsession: making bright rooms work for OLED. Every previous OLED TV had the same weakness. Put them in a living room with windows, overhead lights, afternoon sun, and the picture goes flat. Reflections wash out the contrast. Dark scenes become gray. Samsung attacked this problem head-on with glare-free OLED technology, a proprietary anti-reflection coating that breaks up ambient light before it can kill the image. In a bright room with ceiling lights blazing, the S95F holds its contrast in a way that genuinely changes what is possible for daytime sports viewing. Now add QD-OLED panel technology quantum dot on top of OLED, and you get pure RGB color production without blending in a white subpixel. Colors are more saturated, brighter at peak highlights, and more accurate than standard OLED. Samsung claims 2000 nits peak brightness, a 22% jump over the previous generation. For sports, this matters enormously. The green of a football pitch, the white of a jersey, the stadium floodlights at night, everything pops with a clarity that standard TVs cannot replicate. The NQ4 AI Gen3 processor runs 128 neural networks in real time to upscale broadcasts, sharpen motion, and manage contrast dynamically. Motion Xcelerator at 165 Hz means no blur during fast breaks, no ghosting on corner kicks, no smearing when the ball crosses the frame. When 22 players are moving simultaneously across a 77-inch QD-OLED screen at 165 Hz, that is not television anymore. That is something else. But a picture this good without the right sound is like watching a World Cup final on mute. And here is where the second half of this setup changes everything. The sound Q990F. Most people underestimate how much of the stadium experience is audio. The roar when a goal goes in, the build of noise as a striker breaks through on goal. The bass thump of a crowd chant that you feel in your chest before you hear it. The Q990F is Samsung's flagship soundbar for 2025, and it is an 11.1.4 channel Dolby Atmos system. 11 speakers, 1 subwoofer, 4 up-firing height channels, and crucially, actual physical rear speakers that sit behind you. Not virtual surround, not processed reflections. Real speakers positioned behind your couch, firing sound toward you from the direction a stadium crowd would actually be coming from. The new subwoofer is a redesigned rounded cube with dual 8-inch opposing drivers that cancel vibration internally, so the bass is tighter, deeper, and more precise than the previous generation. When a ball hits the back of the net and the crowd erupts, the Q990F does not just play that sound, it places it behind you, above you, around you, exactly the way the broadcast intended. Adaptive Sound Pro analyzes what you are watching in real time and adjusts the audio mix, automatically switching between dialogue clarity for post-match interviews and full surround immersion for live action without you touching anything. And the price of the Q990F has dropped significantly from its launch price. It is now available on Amazon for a fraction of what it originally cost. Check the description for the current price, because it moves constantly. V Combination Q-Symphony. Now here's what makes this setup different from buying any TV and any soundbar separately. Samsung built Q-Symphony specifically for this. When you connect the Q990F to the S95F via HDMI eARC, the TV speakers and the soundbar speakers stop working in parallel and start working as a unified audio system. The AI processor in the S95F analyzes the audio track and assigns different sounds to different speakers, depending on where the action is on screen. A commentator's voice comes from the TV speaker at eye level. Stadium crowd noise fills the surround speakers. Goal celebration bass hits from the subwoofer below you. Height channel effects rain down from above. The S95F is not just passing audio to the soundbar, it is actively participating in delivering a surround sound field that a soundbar alone could never create. Reviewers who tested this combination described the sound positioning as almost uncanny in how accurately it tracked on-screen movement. A player running across the screen with the ball, the sound follows them. That is not a feature you read about once and forget. That is something you feel during every single match. And the World Cup runs for a month. Nah, because imagine watching 64 games with a setup like this. Every penalty, every upset, every final. Gaming and beyond, the S95F and Q990F are not just built for football. The S95F runs at 165 Hz with 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, G-Sync compatible, FreeSync Premium Pro, and Samsung Gaming Hub for cloud gaming without a console. Input lag sits below 10 milliseconds. The Q990F passes HDMI 2.1 signal through to the TV without adding latency. Reviewers measured 9.5 milliseconds input lag even with the soundbar in the chain. For anyone who watches the World Cup and then switches to FIFA on a PlayStation, this setup handles both without compromise, no mode switching, no quality loss, no excuses. Is it worth it? Here is the real question. The S95F at 77 inches is priced around $2,800. The Q990F launched at $1,999 and has dropped significantly on Amazon. Together, you are looking at a serious investment. But let me put this in perspective. A stadium ticket to a World Cup match costs hundreds of dollars for a single game. This setup costs more upfront, but it is yours for every match of every tournament for years. The S95F comes with Samsung's One Connect box, which puts all your ports on a separate Unit 1 cable to the TV, everything else connected to the box. Cable management becomes trivial. The setup looks as clean as the picture. Both are linked in the description with the most current Amazon prices. Do you guys think a setup like this is the ultimate way to watch the World Cup, or is a regular TV good enough? Be honest with me, I read every single comment. Subscribe to Premium Tech so you do not miss the deep dives coming next. Peace.